And welcome into the Davidson Football Coaches Corner presented by Atrium Health. Matt present alongside the head coach, Scott Abell. And coach, the first week of any season, I imagine there's a ton of anticipation getting ready for game one. But of course, this season, even more so, given the layoff and given the circumstances. What are the emotions for you and your team as you get set for Elon on Saturday?
Well, certainly it's been an emotional roller coaster ride to get here, but we're incredibly excited about this week and to get our season going. It's just we feel like it's long overdue, but we're also very grateful to all the sacrifices made by our players, our staff, our families, our community here, administration to give us this opportunity. To be honest, I woke up this morning. It was game week. I had the juices flowing like I normally would. It's in February instead of August or early September, but it certainly feels like a game week. Game planning going on as usual. So we're excited to be here and ready to get this week going.
Year three for you as the head coach. First year you come in and both the first 2 years, really outstanding offensive numbers. You've done a lot to change the culture of the program. And then last season, which we'll get to in a moment, the defense took a huge step forward. What is the next step for you as a program?
Well, Matt, that's a good question. And for us, the next step is to consistently compete for a PFL championship, and we knocked on the door of that last year. Certainly a great second year, following up a good year one, gave ourselves a shot to be mentioned as one of the top teams in our league by finishing in the top four. And we're proud of that. So the next step is we got to consistently continue to improve. So we're fighting for a PFL championship year in, year out. And that is our goal. And I think that's our next step. And I think that's a tough step. Those aren't always easy ones, but our guys have worked incredibly hard and we're excited to really showcase how far we've come.
Speaking of that defense, you go from averaging 268 yards a game given up in 2018 to last year giving up just 279. What do you attribute that kind of turnaround to be on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, I think there's a combination of a lot of things. First, just a huge shout out to our defensive staff and our coach staff here that continue to recruit the personnel. Not just within our program, but outside of our program. And what I mean by that, we made some personnel changes after year one that better suited who we wanted to be as a defense, right? When we got here, every young man bought in. We were extremely blessed by the commitment by the entire roster, but we weren't necessarily built for the type of defense that we wanted to be. We want to be predicated on our speed. We'll put a premium on that over size and getting guys involved that can really run for a great zone concept defense that's built on gap control up front was really important to us. And so as we evolved, you saw guys like Jalen Jefferson, who is now a junior captain, had a great sophomore year. Jake Alexander, great sophomore year, right? Cade Vila at safety, Draylon Hines at safety, unbelievable years. And then, you make a couple program moves like Jalen Bolin, who was an offensive player year one, transition to defense year two at corner, who had an amazing year, right? Who we truly believe may be the best corner in our league, right? And, we had to make some of those changes. Tyler Solomon went from offense to defense from year one, year two to give us more speed and athletic ability up front. And now, we have the personnel that we know is built for our defense. And I think that had as much to do with the change. And then you had guys like Jordan Reed, who came in with us our first year, who really grew, had a great year last year. Chichi Odo, right? We're excited, with that side of the football, how quick we did grow. And, unfortunately for them, year one, they got put in some really bad situations. We broke about every record possible offensively, really explosive. That put a lot of pressure on the defense, which maybe to certain people it doesn't make sense because you're like, oh, you're scoring points, but they had very little time to, kind of collect their thoughts because the turnaround was quick. And because we had the lead in so many games, a lot of teams were playing catch up and our defense was getting the kitchen sink thrown at them, right? Very, very tough. Year two, we had a great year offensively, weren't quite as explosive, and it became more ball control. And that gave them the opportunity to really collect their thoughts and become the defense they wanted to. So, a lot of things went into that, but what a great turnaround for our guys. I'm interested to see, how does year 3 grow for this group?
So now the offensive side of the ball, your All-American running back Wesley Duggar opts out for his senior season. James Story, second leading tailback, also graduating, moving on. So how do you replace that kind of production? Who do you look to elsewhere on the offense with some experience to kind of step up and provide the production that those guys gave you in years past?
Well, without question, you asked me the obvious. How do you replace 2,000 yards of rushing offense, right? Well, in our scheme, a lot of guys get involved in touch footballs, and I don't think you expect one person or two people to replace that, right? You're going to rely on a host of players, a host of candidates to absorb that, right? And that's going to start up front. Our offensive line, very veteran oriented. We return a ton of starters, a ton of experience. Could not be more excited about our guys up front, led by, Berkey at guard and Kipperman at center and Sandorf. And, we'll combine that with some young guys who played a lot last year. So we feel really good up front. And then we're going to rely heavily on our senior quarterback and our quarterback room. Tyler Phelps has been a 4-year starter here, started every game since I arrived, has run our offense incredibly efficiently and everybody can see the numbers. And we'll probably rely on him a little more this year to be a threat, both with his legs and his arm, and I think traditionally he's been a huge threat with his arm, and we haven't asked him to be a huge threat with his legs, but he can. So we're excited about that. And Louis Kalisma, who's in that room also, he's a redshirt junior, but has a ton of experience. So we feel great about the quarterback room. But, the guys out wide will really help absorb that. Our slots and our receivers, Eli Turner, Pat Tabor, right, Braden Oakley, Ayers Hilliard. I'll just keep naming names. Jalen Staples, Satchel Moore, Colin Hare. Those guys are all returners who are very dynamic that will help absorb that role. And we're really excited about that. You add in Jackson Sherrard, who was a 7-game starter at tight end, who we believe is as talented as any tight end in our league. And then the newcomers in that backfield, right? And our program has seen those guys play. Coy Williams played a lot as a freshman, got in some backup duty as a freshman, spent last year battling some injuries. And so that gave Dylan Sparks, who was a freshman last year, the opportunity to serve in that same role. The two of them have gotten some carries in live situation. They both had great falls. Okay. And we're excited about the opportunity they're going to get, and so, certainly, when you lose that kind of offense, you make sure that you want to have the answers. And I think we do. And I think that's been a part of our recruiting since we arrived here to be ready for this day.
Well, Coach, we're excited to watch you come Saturday. Thanks for joining me and best of luck.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
This has been the Davidson Wildcats Coaches Corner presented by Atrium Health. Kickoff Saturday at Elon is set for 1:30, and our pregame coverage gets you set beginning at 1.